the average life is 75 years. So he says that's 75 summers, 75 springs, 75 winters, 75 falls. So you have 75.
Yeah.
Now, how old are you? Now take that, and that's what it is. So I'm 42. The average is 75. So how many of those do you have left? How many summers do you have left?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, whoa.
Yeah, it's sobering.
Yeah, 33 summers left.
I showered too, and that's how we're going to start this episode. Welcome to Products of Circumstance, with podcast with Ken Skeen and myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. This show is unscripted, unfiltered, and mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly, and Ken's going to tell us what we're going to talk about in just a moment. But first, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we drop a new episode, which is every Monday. Every Monday we drop a new episode, so check back in and see what we got. All right, my brother, what are we talking about today? Not showering.
Other than showering, of course, and using loofahs. Today's episode will be experiencing life. So the ups and downs of life. I guess we're told as kids, have a happy life. Make sure you have a happy life. It's a wonderful life. It doesn't always have to be happy, right? There's sad times, there's troubled times, there's exciting times, but the I'm gonna say the lie we're told of this happy life we're gonna have as we get older. No, you do learn from your experiences, right? So the experience of life, that's the episode. So you also learn from your downs. You learn from the troubles you have. You're supposed to at least learn from them. So, but you have to take that all in and then create the life you want. So when I say, or when we say the experience of life, or the ups and downs, let's say, I know Fenton doesn't like to use the word failure.
If I use the word failure.
Right. All right. So instead of failure, we'll say mishap.
Sure. That works.
Different. All right. So different mishaps that you may have along your journey, right? So you have different chapters in your life. You're going through different things. You're learning new things about yourself, hopefully on a daily basis, if not a quarterly or yearly basis. You're learning new things about yourself, new likes, new dislikes, things that actually get you motivated. I would hope that's something that you're striving for, things that excite you. But yes, you will have the downs where you have to learn who you are, going through maybe a storm that's weathering maybe a death in the family, losing a job, a breakup, an argument with a loved one. It could be a lot of things. It could be something that happened at work, but keep your standards high for yourself and learn from your mishaps, or like I like to say, your failures. Learn from them, because it helps build you as a person. Those building blocks you need, it'll help build you. Just don't think that everything's happy-go-lucky and it's a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. All right? You have to be prepared, or prepare your mind to know that you might have a block in the road that you need to either go through, go over, or go around. And now you keep that in your bank, right? You keep that in your memory bank, so that if it happens again, all right, last time this happened, I was able to do these steps. Right. And that's what I mean by experiencing life. Taking note of the things you've gone through.
You're good.
Taking notes for the things you've gone through, whether good or bad, so that you can help yourself later on if it pops up again. Not if, but when it pops up again, because it will. In some way or the other. You may speak.
My turn. No, look, man. I mean, the first thing you started out with, like, it's weird. Here's a weird thought, that we have this notion that life is supposed to be, happy, and I can't necessarily pinpoint exactly where we get that notion from. I'm sure it's a lot of different places, a lot of different programming, movies we watch, happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure that it comes from our parents, because I don't think my parents, even when they talked about their lives growing up, it wasn't happy. Some of the best times I remember, not best times, but some really memorable times that I had as a kid was listening to my dad talk about life growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, and how they used to, sleep in a sugar sack made of burlap. That was their blanket. Crawl inside the sugar sack, on a wooden floor. And, you go outside to use the bathroom, you go into the outhouse. And, if you were out late and you came back late at night, the door would be locked and you just had to sleep outside, in the dark. It's not suburbia, with street lights. You're sitting outside in the dark by yourself, and all these things about the struggles. And he remembers and recounts these things fondly. So did my mother. But it doesn't mean that they weren't struggling. I listen to like a lot of entrepreneurs and successful people who talk about their roots and where they came from. And they're like, we were poor. We didn't know we were poor. I hear that a lot. It's like, yeah, poor people don't know that they're poor. They have happiness. They have their families. There's love and togetherness. But it doesn't mean that they don't struggle. So I just find it interesting that you point that out, because it's like, yeah, we kind of have this idea that life is supposed to somehow, in the aggregate, be this happy experience. And I think for me, it's about perspective and attitude, the lens that we see everything through. We're going through things right now. We both are. Mm-hmm. And it's about our attitudes. We don't let those things that aren't so happy bog us down and say, well, life isn't good and life isn't happy. I'm like, no, I always have joy in my heart. People ask me how I'm doing. I said, I'm doing amazing every day, always, in spite of my circumstances. And that is something that's a matter of seeing the possibility, for hope, and to have peace and contentment and joy in spite of everything that life is throwing at you, because life is throwing bricks on the top of the building, and you're just down there and it's throwing bricks on you. I like to think that a lot of the stuff that we talk about on a regular basis, the mindset stuff, the journaling. I know everyone's tired of hearing that word, journaling, and they get tired of hearing about meditation, and they get tired of hearing about prayer, and they get tired of hearing about reading books about other people's, journeys, and everything that we talk about it because it's what helps us to have a positive attitude in spite of everything.
Right.
So as we're experiencing life, we can take it all in and take it in stride. And we can look at the experience and be like, I got some good out of that.
Right.
This made me better. This made me stronger. This made me smarter. What I say, pain is weakness leaving the body. Jerry Seinfeld does a good joke where he's like, pain is information rushing in to fill a gap. It's like, you didn't know that table was there?
Now you do.
Now you know. So, yeah, man, I think, I have a friend, an old coworker, and I saw on social media just yesterday that she was diagnosed with cancer. And, active person, young person, you think everything's going well, diagnosed with cancer. And I sent her a message and I thought about it for a second, bro. I was like, I don't want to say I'm so sad to hear this. This is so sad. That's tragic. I'd started to type it and I'm like, This is an experience. This is her life. And she's experiencing this in her life. And no one wants to partake in that experience if they don't have to. However, what I ended up writing was, I can't think of a person more mentally fit to beat the living hell out of cancer. Because that's, what I hear is that a lot of it does come down to mindset, your attitude. And I don't think that's like some, weird, mumbo jumbo that like hippies say. And I'm pretty sure there's science behind that as well. And the doctors will tell you, like, if a person doesn't want to fight, then they're not going to fight. And if they're willing to fight and they have reasons to push through and to live, and they have love and support, like, that stuff gets people through. I don't want to step out of bounds, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure I've heard from like doctors say like that's real. And so I led with that. Who else could possibly take this thing on the way that you could? Because her mindset, and that's how we got to approach life, man.
No, it's true. When you're more positive, and people can call it prayer or meditation, whatever you want to call it, you definitely are sending positive or negative energy out into the world. So when people do pray for you, they're sending that positive energy, which I do believe helps as well. I agree with you on that. I've had I'm not trying to beat anyone on this one, but I've had many people on my side of the family pass away of cancer, and you can fight to a minute, but it'll take over. It's how much fight you put in is how quick it'll take over. So yeah, if you're trying to have a positive mindset, and I say trying because look, I've never had it. I've watched many family members on both sides now, my wife's side as well now, go through it, different types of cancer. My grandfather, 4 different aunts, cousins, and it's crazy, but to watch the person kind of change in front of you. But when you have that positive mindset, it definitely helps the healing process if you can get through it. I'll agree with that one. But not just with cancer. I don't want to segue into that. But just in general, let's say Fenton and I have already brought up many different times how many careers we've had. All right. So you're experiencing life with changing career, whether or not you were ready for it. That's a difference, right? So in my late 20s, after 15 years of construction, third generation carpentry, I had to change careers into auto sales. Well, I had to change careers into something. two kids at home with a wife, and I got to put food on that table.
Right.
But change careers into car sales. You want to talk about scared? Yeah, people are like, oh, I'm never scared. I was a little worried. I'll tell you that right now. When I went in with my resume and you're overqualified for this. This has nothing. Your resume has nothing to do with sales. You're overqualified for this job because you've done a lot of work experience in your life. But for this, figure it out. You have 30 days, sink or swim.
Right.
Which I did figure it out because I put my mind to it and figured it out. And a little bit of practice, a little bit of failure here and there, and learning from my mistakes. I'm now 13 years in, going on 13 years. Been a manager for 10 of those 13 years. But it's life will throw the challenges at you. All right. We talked about weathering storms in previous episode. You will have to weather those storms. You will have to get knocked down and get back up. I know this all sounds cliche, but it's real. It's real when you're experiencing the ups and downs, and be thankful for those periods that aren't sunny and doves and birds chirping.
Some doves in the back.
You better be thankful for those times. You know why you're thankful for those times? Because you appreciate when you're not going through them. And not everyone's storm lasts a day, a week, a month. Some storms will last years. And your mindset, like Fenton said before, your mindset or the way you comprehend or react to your situation will definitely either help or fault you as you walk that journey. So just be mindful. Be mindful with how you treat yourself or how you think about yourself and what you're going through.
And that is the experience of life, is when you look back over your life, how did you respond to the adversity? Because the adversity is always going to be there. It's going to be there for everybody. But we know that some people don't respond well to adversity. You know, it's a weird thing. It's like you're experiencing life, right? That's it in the moment. That's like the present, what we're experiencing today. And then when you look back over your life, wherever you are in life, what has your experience been thus far? You're writing the story every single day. When I'm 41, when I turn 60, I'll be able to look back, you know, by the grace of God, I hope I make it to 60. I'll be able to look back and be like, oh, this is what my life experience has been thus far. It's like a resume, right? Your life resume. But today is the day that I'm experiencing life and writing that resume. You know, so people, man, this could go a lot of different ways. And I know we want to short on time. I want to make it as poignant as possible so that it really sticks. Some people who grew up where we grew up, their lives look very different from yours and mine. Same environment, but they experienced it differently. They experienced that environment differently than we did. And now, like every day that they woke up, they went to school, they made certain choices that were different from our choices. And when they graduated, they make different choices. We were all experiencing life over those past 20 or so years. But now the aggregate of our life experience is vastly different because we made different decisions every day. We woke up and we experienced life differently. It's like this weird, subtle, you know, difference in the way that you apply the word. You know, but I know people, man, who are, you know, whether they're locked up or, you know, they were locked up or they're dead, you know, or they're just like financially, you know, strung out or whatever the case is. And, you know, some people I know who even look back and they have regrets. They're like, man, I wish I had done things differently. You know, you chose how you were going to experience life because we all had the same homework to hand in. We also had the same test to study for. You know, we all had the opportunity to walk that stage and graduate. You know, we all got to decide whether or not we were going to go to college or get a job or do whatever. And some people just made decisions that, you know, gave them a different experience in life. And, you know, now they're paying for that. One thing I know is that I want to look back on my life and be proud of the decisions that I made. And I want to also not have regrets about the decisions that I've made. And what that means for future Fenton is that today, as I'm experiencing life, it's hard to think about the future, but I need to make the right decisions now for the future, no matter what I'm experiencing right now and how hard it is, or how good it is for that matter. Because sometimes things be too good and you just you have oversights as well. That certainly happens. There's been parts of my life. Let me try to think of an example so that I'm not just talking in abstracts. I would say like when I was working at this mortgage company, you know, I was good there. You know, I had a career. I like the people that I work with and everything. But I didn't spend enough time with family. I didn't spend enough time taking vacations. You know, a lot of my coworkers would like travel and go on vacation. And I was like, I found something I was good at and that I like to do. And I just went headfirst into that. And I just worked. You know, I was also doing a lot of music on the side as well. In my 20s, I was heavy into music. So it was like, go to the studio, come home at 3 a.m, sleep a little bit, go to work, to a career that I liked with people that I liked. And that was like my whole life was like work and music. And it's not that I like neglected my family, but like my mom had a couple birthdays that went by when she was living in Trinidad. I didn't go. I'm too busy. I got to work. And, life can also pass you by even when you're experiencing happy things and good things. And, I'm sure that happens to a lot of successful people who say, I work too much. I didn't make time for my kids or my spouse. Did you see that clip of Busta Rhymes talking with Toby and Fat?
No.
He's at the Grammys and they're backstage and he's talking with Toby and Fat and he's like, y'all are the blueprint for family. He's like, you're showing that family is also it's not just like the foundation personally, but also in business. Because, he's a rapper, his wife, is a rapper and, they do everything together and they bring the kids and everything. And she was pregnant. She's got the belly out and Busta Bus is saying, I wish I spent more time with my kids.
Yeah.
I was just out there working, experiencing life, doing amazing things for the culture and for his family. And still, man, I wish I had spent more time with my kids. So make the decisions, today that you can be happy with tomorrow.
All right, I'll say one more thing. We'll leave it at that. I was watching a clip. It was Eddie Murphy. And I actually watched it like 3 or 4 times, and it wasn't crazy, but he was saying, the average life is 75 years. So he says that's 75 summers, 75 springs, 75 winters, 75 falls. So you have 75.
Yeah.
Now, how old are you? Now take that, and that's what it is. So I'm 42. The average is 75. So how many of those do you have left? How many summers do you have left? Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, whoa.
Yeah, it's sobering.
Yeah, 33 summers left. It'll wake you up real quick. Yeah, definitely do that. If you're listening, if you're 20, you're thinking, I got 55 summers left. Then you're 20 now.
Right.
55 is not a lot, my dude.
Right.
It's so be mindful of that. Take that vacation. Hang out with your family and your children and your spouse and do those things that make you smile. Yeah. You don't have to spend money to smile, by the way. Yeah. You could take a walk by the park, by the beach, on the farm, whatever. Hug your dog or your cat. Do things that make you smile. Because, like I said, you got 75 of them. People are living longer, but we're talking about the average right now. 75 of them. How many you got left?
Tired in your 70s. Summer in your 70s ain't the same as summer in your 30s.
Right. How many summers you got left? Remember that.
Man, Ken.
Sorry. I'm not sorry, actually.
Sobering stuff, man. Go experience life, y'all. Don't let it experience you. Or let life experience you. Whoa. That's good. All right, man. On that note, y'all please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Later, bro.
Peace.
Love you, man.
Love you too.